You have measured love by the way people leave, by the slow fading of attention, by promises that could not carry their own weight. You have learned to watch the door more than the table, expecting footsteps to retreat. Hear me. I am not like those who grew tired. My love does not rely on your performance. It rests on my nature. I do not ration my affection. I pour it like a river that refuses to run dry. Even now, I am drawing near to the thirst you barely admit. God's love never runs out. You wonder if you used more than your share. You count the mercies you have already received, and fear the cupboard might be bare. There is no cupboard in my kingdom. There is a spring that rises from an endless source. My heart does not operate on scarcity, and my patience does not tick toward zero. I do not look at you and see a drain on my resources. I look at you and see the joy of my making. I do not love you on trial. I love you on purpose. God's love never runs out. When shame suggests that you need to dim your presence to stay acceptable, lift your eyes. I am not startled by your story. I am the one who stood at the edges of your worst moment and refused to step away. I am the one who gathered the fragments you cursed and called them material for renewal. I will not weaponize your weakness against you. I will not label you by the moment you regret. With me, confession is not humiliation. It is the doorway to healing. God's love never runs out. You have seen love arrive like fireworks, loud, brief, and dazzling, and you have seen the dark that follows. My love is a sunrise. It comes faithful, patient, and new, filling the horizon with warmth that stays. It keeps coming even when clouds gather. It does not compete with the storm. It outlasts it. Where fireworks leave smoke that stings the eyes, my love leaves clarity. Where fireworks leave silence, my love keeps singing. God's love never runs out. You pray as if you need to convince me to be good, as if I needed briefing on your circumstances. Child, I am already moving toward you with goodness. Prayer is not a negotiation. It is alignment. It is the point where your fear sits down and your trust stands up. Bring me your requests, yes, but bring me also your lens, and let me clean it. I will show you where provision has been arriving beneath your radar, where help has worn ordinary clothes. God's love never runs out. When you tire of yourself, know that I do not tire of you. I am not watching from a cold distance with crossed arms and a tight mouth. I am the friend who keeps pace when your steps slow, the father who runs to meet you when you finally turn, the shepherd who goes after the wandering without resentment. I do not count the cost of finding you as if it were a loss. I count it as joy. This is not theory. This is the texture of my heart. God's love never runs out. There are fractures you stop touching because they ache to the bone. Invite me to place my hand there. I do not press to hurt. I press to heal. The tenderness you fear is not fragility. It is the first sign of life returning. I will teach your nervous system that safety is possible again. I will speak to your muscles of defense until they remember rest. I know every angle of your wound and every pathway of repair. God's love never runs out. You worry that acceptance means avoiding truth, that if I really knew every detail, I would withdraw. I know every detail, and I draw closer. Truth in my presence is not a blade that cuts you down. It is a light that grows you up. I will name what poisoned you without shaming you for drinking. I will show you how to pour out what you were never meant to hold, and how to receive what you believed you did not deserve. God's love never runs out. Let us talk about your limits. They are not an indictment. They are an invitation. Infinite love meets you exactly where you end and shows you that ending is not failure. It is the place where partnership begins. You will not be asked to live beyond your humanity. You will be taught to live within my sufficiency. I do not crush your schedule with outcomes. I order your day with presence. From presence, purpose finds you without panic. God's love never runs out. I know the names of your particular loneliness, the kind that crowds a room and the kind that visits when the house finally quiets. I sit with you in both. I do not try to fix you before I comfort you. I do not hurry your grief. I hold it until it can breathe. Then, while you are held, I begin to rebuild the bridges that shame burned. I gather community like a mosaic, piece by piece, until you find yourself at a table where you can be honest and unafraid. God's love never runs out. Some days your faith feels like a match in the wind. Do not despise the small flame. I cup my hands around it. I lean close. I breathe a shelter over your flicker until it steadies. I do not mock your need. I meet it. I do not compare your flame to another's fire. I give it what it needs to grow in its own way, at its own pace. I am not impatient with your process. I am invested in your becoming. God's love never runs out. You ask for signs that you will not be abandoned again. Look back with me, not to reopen pain, but to trace the thread that kept you when you thought you were falling through empty air. There were meals you could not have purchased, words you could not have scripted, timings you could not have arranged. There was a strength that visited you in the hour you had none. Those were not accidents, they were evidence. Gather them, and let gratitude become your historian. God's love never runs out. If this whisper is bringing you peace, help it reach someone else who needs it today. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Then come back to the quiet with me, where love keeps speaking and your heart learns how to listen deeply. Now, let us loosen the knot of fear that tightens whenever you plan ahead. My love is not a monthly ration you must budget with dread. It is daily bread and tomorrow's manna already baking. You will not open the next chapter to find me absent. I am writing ahead, placing mercies in margins you have not yet turned to. Walk forward without rehearsing disaster. Anticipate goodness, not as denial, but as agreement with reality. Because I am with you. God's love never runs out. I will teach you practices that keep your soul open. Gratitude that pays attention. Confession that clears the air. Sabbath that reminds you you are more than your output. Service that turns love into muscle. These are not duties to earn favor. They are ways of breathing in a world that often forgets oxygen. As you keep them, you will discover how consistently I keep you. Your life will gain a steadiness that does not depend on applause. God's love never runs out. You have tasted counterfeit loves that promised much and demanded more. They left you smaller, quieter, wary. My love does not bargain for your worth. It reveals it. It does not ask you to vanish so others can shine. It makes room for both truth and tenderness. Under its light, you will not shrink to fit. You will stand as one who belongs. You will learn to say no without guilt and yes without fear because you are rooted in more than opinion. God's love never runs out. What about the failures that still blush your cheeks in memory? Bring them. We will not rewrite the past. We will redeem it. You will apologize where necessary, repair where possible, and release where control was a masquerade. You will bless the lessons without blessing the harm. Your story will not be a cautionary tale of regret. It will be a testimony of relentless mercy. Others will find courage in your honesty and healing in your humility. God's love never runs out. There will be days when sorrow returns without invitation. Do not confuse recurrence with defeat. Healing is not a straight hallway. It is a garden with seasons. Some days will bloom, some will prune, some will lie quiet beneath the soil. I am the gardener who wastes no weather. I will not hurry your growth for spectacle, and I will not halt it for cynicism. I cultivate the fruit that lasts. In my care, even winter has purpose. God's love never runs out. I bless your imagination to picture a future that is not edited by fear. I bless your mind to think with clarity and your memory to recall my faithfulness more easily than your failures. I bless your hands to build what is good and your boundaries to protect what is holy. I bless your home to carry the fragrance of kindness and your rest to be deep enough to mend the fray. This blessing does not expire. It is renewed each morning like light itself. God's love never runs out. As you move among people, let the love you receive become love you release. Speak with gentleness that does not excuse lies, and with courage that does not crush hearts. Be quick to listen, steady to forgive, and wise to reconcile without returning to harm. You will not run out because your source does not diminish. You draw from a well that I keep full. Become a door through which hope enters rooms. God's love never runs out. Do not mistake quiet for absence. I am not less present when you cannot feel me. I am simply doing deeper work than sensation can measure. Like roots in the dark, I strengthen what holds you. Like a physician in the night, I tend what cannot wait for morning. Faith grows here. Quiet, persistent, undefeated. Trust the silence. I am in it. God's love never runs out. Near the end of this day, place your hand over your heart and let these words settle like seed. I am loved without quota, carried without condition, guided without hurry. Say it slowly until your breathing matches its cadence. When old scripts protest, answer them with this truth. When new challenges arise, meet them from this ground. You are not approaching a reluctant throne. You are welcomed by a love that does not weaken with time.